I'm Jonathan Evans.
And I'm Ashley Thompson.
This is VOA News. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for comprehensive peace talks with Moscow in a video address released Saturday as Russia reported its first hypersonic missile strike on Ukrainian territory. Zelensky said the time has come to restore territorial integrity and justice for Ukraine. Otherwise, Russia's losses will be such that it will take several generations to recover. Zelensky's appeal for another round of talks came one day after Russia's lead negotiator said the sides have moved closer to agreement on the issue of Ukraine dropping its bid to join NATO. Vladimir Medinsky said Friday the two countries are also halfway there on the question of Ukraine adopting neutral status. Ukrainian negotiator Mikhailo Podolyak tweeted, "Our positions are unchanged. Ceasefire, withdrawal of troops, and strong security guarantees with concrete formulas." Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Moscow expected its invasion of Ukraine to end with a comprehensive agreement on security issues, including Ukraine's neutral status, this according to Russia's Interfax news agency. Hoping to restore at least some normalcy after fleeing the war in Ukraine, thousands of Ukrainian refugees waited Saturday in long lines in the Polish capital of Warsaw to receive local identification papers that would allow them to move on with their lives. Refugees started lining up beside Warsaw's National Stadium overnight to get the identity cards that will allow them to work, live, go to school, get medical care, other social benefits for the next 18 months. Still, by mid-morning, many were told to come back another day. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton. You're listening to VOA News. Poland has proposed to the European Union that the bloc impose a total ban on trade with Russia. This, according to Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki on Saturday. He urged tougher sanctions on Moscow for its invasion of Ukraine. He proposed blockades of seaports and also land trade, saying fully cutting off Russia's trade would further force Russia to consider whether it would be better to stop this cruel war. Earlier this week, EU member states agreed on a fourth package of sanctions against Russia. Details were not disclosed, but the French presidency said Russia's most favored nation trade status would be revoked. In Australia, Prime Minister Scott Morrison's Liberal Party has lost power in the state of South Australia in a shock election defeat that raises concerns for the federal government, which has to face national polls in about 2 months. The centre-left Labour Party took power in South Australia, which has a population of about 1.8 million people, after Liberal Party leader Stephen Marshall conceded defeat following the elections late on Saturday. Labour, led by former union boss Peter Malinauskas, looks set to hold at least 25 seats in the 47-seat state assembly after a big swing. This, according to the Australian Associated Press. Postal and pre-polling ballots will only be counted on Monday, after which the final results will be announced. Marshall's the first incumbent leader to lose power since the start of the pandemic in Australia. This raises concerns for Prime Minister Morrison, who's facing a stiff contest in his re-election campaign. U.S. President Joe Biden's move last week to ban oil from Russia over its invasion of Ukraine was met with calls to boost U.S. production to help bring down soaring gasoline prices in the United States. But political rhetoric about quickly ramping up U.S. crude output is at odds with reality for the nation's oil fields. Not enough workers, scant money to invest in drilling, and wariness that today's high prices won't last. Analysts are saying that the obstacles to more U.S. oil are surmountable, but will take months to work through, and it could be late this year or early next before a significant production increase materializes. And the World Health Organization said Saturday that the world is at a dangerous moment in the fight against diseases like polio. The official spoke as efforts began to immunize 23 million children across 5 African countries after an outbreak in Malawi. And revisiting our top story this hour, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has called for a comprehensive peace talks with Moscow in a video address released Saturday as Russia reported its first hypersonic missile strike on Ukrainian territory. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton, VOA News.